Hello and welcome to Spiced Up Civics, your Minneapolis-based youth-led spin on a certain better-known YouTube series. Whether you're here for the poultry or the politics, we are glad you're watching. We are joined today by Senator Omar Fateh, who is running for mayor here in Minneapolis. He'll be answering some spiced up questions while eating his spiced up food of choice, which in this case is wings from the Kitchen by Baked brand here at Midtown Global Market. As always, we have a lineup of 5 hot sauces made right here in Minnesota. Those sauces are Tequila Sunrise, Crybaby Craig's, Burn Yo Face, from Lovejoy's, Red Eye Hot Sauce, Red Eye Wildfire, and from our neighbors in Wisconsin, we have Hellfire Dunes. So, before we get into that, I just want to ask if you would mind introducing yourself and sort of explaining why you chose to run for office.
Awesome, yeah. So my name is Omar Fateh. Currently, I represent Southside Minneapolis, District 62. Completed 5 years in the Senate. I'm currently the chair of the Senate Higher Education Committee, and I also serve as the vice chair of Human Services. And I'm running for mayor right now because I love the city and I love the people in it. And right now, what I'm hearing from people is that it seems like we're living in a tale of two cities. One for the wealthy and the well-connected, and then the rest of us, the renters, the transit riders, the immigrants, the students, our seniors, and so on. And while one side gets access and protection and priority, the others get broken promises and vetoes. And so we're running on a campaign to make the city more affordable, hoping to increase the minimum wage to $20 an hour, protect our renters, making sure we have a public safety system that works for all of us, deal with our encampments and our unhoused neighbors in a humane and compassionate way, and also building that front line of defense for our city, because we have a hostile federal government right now that wants to go after cities in which they consider adversarial or oppositional, and so that's what we're running on.
Well, yeah, and thank you so much for running. You know, it takes a lot to do that in this moment.
Yeah.
But with that, should we get into some of the wings?
Let's make that happen.
All right, so we'll start out with Tequila Sunrise, coming up hot. It's made right here in Minneapolis.
Let's do this.
And then I'll let you
Thank you.
do your choice amount. All right, and cheers.
Cheers.
The wings are hot.
It's hot. Got a nice little tang to it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I like to start out on kind of a light note and just sort of ask, what do you think is your go-to like spot, whether it be a restaurant, park, coffee shop in Minneapolis?
I'll give you a few. So coffee shop, the two I pretty much frequent the most are actually right by each other. On Franklin, there's a coffee shop called Capitol Cafe, where people sit, but they also watch like soccer games, football, things like that, talk politics. And then another one is a little bit down the street, maybe a block or so away. It's called Code Blue Coffee. For parks, me and my wife like to walk around Lake of the Isles, Lake Harriet, with my son Imran. And when I used to play basketball more often, I used to play basketball over at PV Park. I'm not as good as I used to. I'm getting a little bit older now. I'm not as quick or I can't jump as high, but I try to get in some rounds once in a while.
Well, soon enough, you'll be taking your son out on those courts.
Absolutely.
So congratulations on that as well.
Thank you so much.
How do we feel about the Tequila Sunrise sauce?
It's actually pretty good. I'm expecting it to get a little bit more spicy down the road, but
Yeah, I think you're right to expect that. So we'll go to our next sauce, which is a familiar one in Minneapolis. It's Crybaby Craig's.
oh
It's
yeah,
garlic habanero. This one you got to be careful with. It does not have a dropper.
yes. Ooh,
Yeah,
it can come out. It really comes out.
It really comes out.
Yep, there you go.
All right. And cheers.
Cheers.
So on a bit of a more serious note, What would you say is one of the most important or pressing issues facing Minneapolis today?
I think that Minneapolis is facing a lot. It is a city that has suffered through the COVID-19 pandemic. It's gone through the murder of George Floyd and the aftermath of that. And so, what I'm hearing from neighbors loud and clear is that we need to make the city more affordable. We need to make sure that we have a public safety system in which works for everyone. And what I mean by that is when you call 911, you get the right call at the right time. You get the right response at the right time. For far too long, as a senator, I heard from constituents saying that when they call 911, either the phone call gets dropped, or it rings endlessly, or officers don't show up at all, or they show up hours later. And so we know that two things. Number one, we have two consent decrees we can implement around police accountability. But number two, the city had a report that showed that nearly half of 911 calls to MPD can actually be diverted away from police to alternatives like BCR, behavioral crisis response, to mental health responders and things like that. And so we know we got to beef up those alternatives because that actually really clicks with what I heard at the Capitol. We had law enforcement from different jurisdictions, different areas, saying that we can't respond to every single call. We need help. And so we can be more strategic in freeing up those resources so officers don't have to respond to every call. They can focus on violent crime. They can focus on clearing the case backlog, dealing with drug trafficking, working on human trafficking, making sure that cases don't go unsolved or unresolved. And so I think that's the more strategic approach, while we know that also not every call, again, warrants an officer that's armed. And so that's our vision for public safety, but we also want to make sure that we have an operating system that works and that when you call 911, that you get someone to respond to you when you call.
Well, definitely public safety is one of the issues we hear a lot from a lot of our candidates coming on as something they think is most important. So thank you for your leadership on that.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
a second part to that, I would say, is also homelessness and our unhoused neighbors.
Yes.
And we had the mayor campaign on eliminating homelessness within 5 years when he first ran for mayor. But now there's more unhoused neighbors than when he first took office. And so we know that we need to partner with the county, partner with the state to bring in more resources for our folks. We got to make sure that, for example, I worked when I saw what was going on the ground, connecting with shelters and even our unhoused neighbors. I worked hard to bring in millions of dollars for Simpson Housing and Agate and Avivo, making sure that the folks doing really great work have the support and resources they need to get funded. And so we know that we need to take a more humane, compassionate approach to our homeless and our unhoused neighbors, and to make sure that we're taking a housing first approach. We're connecting them to services. We're dealing with folks individually in a humane and compassionate way. We know that we got to move the response out of regulatory services into health, because we know that we're living in a public health emergency within the encampments. There are spreads of infectious diseases like hepatitis and syphilis and HIV. And so they need sanitary stations, they need safe needle storage and things like that. And so we know that bulldozing our neighbors doesn't lead them to being housed. And so we've just seen the city spend hundreds of thousands of dollars every single time bulldozing the encampments, throwing away their belongings, their social security cards, their IDs, their key identifiers, and that hasn't led to them being housed. And so obviously something is not working. We got to make sure that we're taking an approach, which, by the way, we're counting on working with the county and the state to get it done.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your leadership on that. And
Thank you.
how do we feel about Crybaby Craig's?
That one is a little bit more tangy. It had a stronger kick, but it was also pretty sweet too. So
Yes.
it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I like the flavor on that one.
Yeah.
It's like before it gets like too spicy where you can't really taste anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we're sort of getting into that territory though.
Okay.
So we'll dive into our next sauce,
Yes.
which is Burn Your Face from Lovejoy's. So we'll see if it burns your face.
Hopefully not.
Yes. And this one does have one of the droppers on top, which is good.
Got to talk to constituents later on, so hopefully my face is fully intact after
Yes.
this.
Yes.
We'll
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
So I'll let that kind of sit for a second. But I want to ask, what, whether it be in your life or your career or both, do you think has prepared you best to be the mayor of Minneapolis?
Well, I've been in the state senate for 5 years, and in that time, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from my colleagues. I've learned a lot from the boots on the ground organizations and from our neighbors. And what I've seen time and time again is that we have a lot of people. We have a city full of people, full of potential, neighbors that want to help, that have a vision for our city, in which everyone is uplifted and supported. But we're just not seeing that translate into policy that uh, directly impacts people's day-to-day lives. And so that's why we made our slogan when we announced it's time for a mayor that works as hard as you do. Because we have the people showing up. I've seen firsthand showing up to City Hall, showing up to the Capitol, talking with our state legislators, showing up to committee hearings, fighting just for the city that they believe we can be. And so we want to make sure that we're a city that, especially in a time in which we have a hostile federal government that will pin us into making a choice around sacrificing your values, which means not protecting our most vulnerable communities, or losing funding from the federal, right? And we want to make sure that no matter what, we don't lose our funding. We don't lose. That we don't lose. I'm sorry. That we don't sacrifice our values. And so, I have the experience of working not just with progressives, but with the Blue Dog Democrats, which also endorsed. Some of them endorsed my campaign to pass policy, which I believe is some of the most transformational pieces of legislation in our state's history. Things that I'm known for, like the tuition-free college for working-class families, the strongest rideshare protections and increased wages for our Uber and Lyft drivers, the legalization of fentanyl testing strips, a whole host of housing and human services policy. All of that was not only done by progressives, but I gotten the buy-in of the Blue Dog Democrats, but also all those legislation were also bipartisan. I got Republicans on board too as well. And so I have the ability to work with people in which a lot of times you might have disagreements with, but disagreements are healthy, but taking that my way, the highway approach isn't healthy. And what I've heard loud and clear from neighbors in this election is that what's equally important to good policy are good relationships. And you cannot have one without the other. And so my goal is to work with all 13 city council members, no matter what the makeup is, getting to know each and every single one of them, having regular check-ins, getting their buy-in in some of the things, working with them on ordinances and policy that affects people's daily lives, working with our county and state to make up for some of the funding that we might need, especially in our key areas such as housing and homelessness, and taking a more collaborative approach. Because right now what we're seeing is that there seems to be more of an adversarial relationship between the mayor and city council. I'm honored to be endorsed by 6 out of the 13 city council members, endorsed by a whole host of state legislators. County Commissioner Angela Conley also endorsed our campaign, school board members, park board, and on. And so we built a broad coalition that even at times, despite some of our differences, show that we're able to work together to get things done for our city. And I believe that I can bring that as mayor.
Absolutely. Well, I think you're absolutely right about the importance of, in this moment especially, recognizing that we need to just find common ground and unite where we can.
Absolutely.
And, sort of with that, I'm kind of curious how your face is doing. Is it burning?
It's getting pretty up there, but I'm holding up.
Yeah, you're holding up?
I'm holding
Good.
up for now.
Good. Yes, we are united in that.
Yes.
So we're getting to sort of the spicier ends.
Yes.
We're going to start with red eye hot sauce, which is...
That looks a little thick too.
It is. Yes, it's thick. It's darker. So it also does not have a dropper on top, so they want you to suffer a little bit. So there's that for you.
I have a good idea of how much to put now.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
How are you doing?
That's all heat, no flavor. Just
Yeah.
all heat.
Yep. Yeah, it kind of hits you right away, that one. And it'll stay for a little bit too. So I want to ask, while you're sort of letting it, percolate in your mouth a bit, we've heard a lot from various different campaigns about ranked choice voting this year in Minneapolis. Can you explain to us and our audience, why we should care about ranked choice voting, why we should rank our ballot?
Yeah, ranked choice voting is a real opportunity in which you can fully have your voice heard. And what I mean by that is, and this is really kicking in right now, so I'm going to take another sip. I'm trying to continue the conversation to not
Absolutely.
think about the heat.
Yep.
It's not working at all.
No, it's one of those things you got to find the fine line between is talking my way through it going to make it any better?
Yeah.
Or is it just going to spread it around my mouth?
Man, it's doing a good job of spreading around a lot. But if you have a candidate that you're really passionate about, that you really believe that your vision and your values align with, that can be your first candidate. But it could be a candidate that you align with maybe 90% of the time, 80% of the time. And that's why it's really important to rank fully 1, 2, and 3 to make sure that those candidates in which you might not agree with fully, but at least you agree more than some of the other candidates. You want to make sure that at least your second and third options have a better shot at making it through, because what's the worst thing that can happen is that you only rank your top choice. Your top choice doesn't make it, but then what happens? Your fourth or fifth preference probably wins that election, and you don't get what you want ultimately. And so I've been working with candidates, both Jazz Hampton and Dwayne Davis, and we formed a slate together, telling folks rank us 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, I want folks to rank me first, but making sure that we have a collective vision of what the city can look like, but also with the understanding that it's time for change. I know Dwayne is campaigning on "We Deserve Better." Jazz is campaigning on "It's time to turn the page." I'm campaigning on "It's time for a mayor that works as hard as you do." All of the above are correct, and so we need to make sure that we're selling our message as individuals, but also around the sense of urgency we have as a collective to have a new mayor in office, because we cannot afford 4 more years of having our unhoused neighbors just be bulldozed block by block without a solution around our homelessness. We can't just continue with 4 more years without a plan around how we're going to tackle issues like public safety, or protecting our workers, or how we're going to protect our neighbors from Trump and the federal government. And so we all understand that even though we have slightly different ways of going about it, slightly different platforms, all of them are better than the path we're on right now. And so that's why the strategy of ranking 1, 2, and 3 is really important, so that if I'm your top choice, but maybe I don't make it, then Jazz or Dwayne can make it. Well, if Jazz or Dwayne is your top choice, but maybe they don't make it, then myself or one of the others can make it. And so it's really important to make sure that you don't leave any part of your ballot blank.
Well, thank you so much for that. I know for a lot of people, the sort of RCV thing's kind of a newer concept.
Yes.
So showing the importance of it's really important. How are we feeling about Red Eye?
Yeah, that I tasted very little flavor and a whole lot of heat.
Yeah.
So it was pure heat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, if you loved Red Eye hot sauce, then I'm sure you'll be a big fan of Red Eye hot sauce Wildfire Extra Hot Edition. And if you thought that was just all heat, no flavor, I'm sure this will be kind of a similar experience
Oh
for
my
you.
gosh, let's make it happen.
Yeah. So I'll put the sauce on my wing, and then I'll ask you the question so that you have a little bit of time to think about it before, you go through this.
Yes.
All right.
There you go.
And cheers.
Cheers, make it happen.
So, real quick, I'm going to ask, who is your biggest role model?
Ooh, let me take a bite first.
Sounds good.
This is spicier,
Mm-hmm.
but it felt like a delight kicking also.
Yeah.
I'm really, really feeling it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's got more of a build than the other one, I think.
It took like a second,
Yeah.
and now it's really slamming.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, just let you sit with
Ow.
that.
Let me drink some water real quick.
Cut.
I would say my role models are my parents, and I say that because, and I cannot talk through this. I need to take one more sip.
Sounds good.
And I say that because of all that they've been through. My dad immigrated here in 1963 on a college scholarship. He's an immigrant from Somalia. He was placed in Bozeman, Montana. My mom came later on in the 70s. And my dad was telling me some stories around when he first came to America and what we're seeing right now with Trump back in office, and how it seems like we're making that turn back into the history's ugly past. And my dad's in his mid 80s right now. And when he came in 1963, he came during the same year in which that famous speech from George Wallace, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, right? And we can see probably with the folks around Trump, like Stephen Miller, like Steve Bannon, Laura Loomer, all those folks, like they probably have that same kind of racist, nationalist vision for America, in which they campaign on taking back our country and make America great again. Well, when was America great? Like when they're talking about its ugly past. And so we're seeing how my father lived through that, and then coming back to seeing Trump and some of his cronies around him with that same hateful rhetoric. And him talking to me about some of his experiences on campus. When he first came to on campus, he was the only African American in the school. And in Bozeman, Montana at that time, I don't believe there was a single African American family in the city also. And so going through those struggles and those experiences are things that, and those stories are things that I carry with me. Same thing with my mom coming here in the 70s from East Africa, settling in New York, getting married in New York, seeing some of the transitions that America has made, and the product, like me being a byproduct of them, and seeing what America used to be, and then what everyone's collective vision of America can be. Like I'm sure that in their past, they probably never imagined their son running for office, becoming a senator, becoming a candidate for mayor, right? But it happened. And as much progress as we've made, we still have a long way to go to make sure that we're more of a welcoming and inclusive, not just city, but nation. And that we have a lot of work to do to push back against some of that hateful rhetoric, some of the things that have come after Trump got elected into office, because he's really enabled a lot of this division and toxicity we've been seeing. And I believe that we can turn the corner. We can make sure that, but it starts here in Minneapolis as a North Star, and Minnesota as a North Star. And I'm hoping if I win mayor, if I become the mayor, that I play just a small role in making that happen, in which, again, not only we build that front line of defense, but we are a welcoming city for everyone, and that we don't leave any community member behind, no matter background or circumstance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds to me like you kind of are an embodiment of sort of the American dream, you know? That sort of like you can come from wherever and just sort of be whatever you want to be here. So that's awesome. And how are we feeling about Red Eye Wildfire Extra Hot Edition.
I tried my best to ignore it and talk through it.
Yep.
I was
It's
suffering the
hard.
entire time.
It's hard. I get it.
I'm even getting a little bit of the sniffles.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah.
Well, we've got one more left.
Okay.
And it is from our neighbors in Wisconsin, Hellfire Doomed. I was talking to Chelsea right before this, and I was noticing that there's no actual like spices in the ingredients list. It's just peppers.
Oh my gosh.
It's just different types of peppers. So, are you sure you want to go through with this one?
Let's make it happen. We're gonna do it together.
Yes. Exactly. So I want you to watch how much I put on here because that's very important.
Whatever you put, I'll probably put half.
That's probably the right call. No, that's probably the right call. Because I am known to make a mistake and just put way too much.
Okay.
And that might even be too much.
Let's see what I can.
And that might even be too much. And once again, I'll sort of, before we take that first bite, because it's going to hit and it's going to get worse, I'm going to tell you now what the question is, and that is, what is one thing you want our audience to know about either you and or your campaign? So,
cheers.
Here we go. How are you doing, Senator?
I'm trying not to open that milk.
It's tempting, though.
That one got me.
Yep. This is like the 12th time we've done this. Still hits just the same.
I can't tell if the water's helping or hurting.
Usually hurting.
Let me get the milk. Oh, man.
Chelsea, that one's different than the other times I've done that. That's different.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't remember the question anymore.
One thing you want our audience to know about you or your campaign. But just saying that again, it got real hot.
I can't talk.
I get it. Take as much time as you need. Because I just get to sit and watch you. So
this last one is bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think I put a little too much.
Yeah. I think you're right.
It's staying on the tip of the tongue too.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
And like as it works its way down, it doesn't like leave, it just like grows.
I think it's worse.
Yeah.
Time is making it worse.
Yep.
And so I'll say one thing I wanted people to know about the campaign is that when I'm talking, it makes it worse.
Yep. It's like remarkable. Can't do anything.
This is bad. Where's your milk?
You know, I don't have any today.
Take one water. Take one water.
You know,
Open it.
I appreciate man of the people right here.
Mm-hmm. I know it's bad. I don't want you to suffer.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I think it's going away, and it does not.
No. Yeah, for a second I was about to make a comment like, and just like that, all better. No, not the case.
No.
Not the case.
Whoa. It's bad.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's one of those things where you got to be careful.
What was this called?
This is Hellfire Doomed,
Oh, yeah.
which
Definitely
We
hellfire.
are surrounded by hellfire and we are doomed.
Oh my gosh. I should have thought twice before that one.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was stronger than I was, man.
I mean, you still had it. That's part of the journey. Part of what makes it so, brave is you said yes and you put it on
Yes.
and you took that bite, and we said, "Oh, you don't have to," but you
Yeah.
still did. So,
I think more of the interview will be us suffering from this one than the rest of them combined.
mhm.
I think that's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to try to bulldoze through this.
Perfect.
So I'm honored to have built a multiracial, multi-generational campaign in this race. We've built a broad coalition of folks from young people to seniors, students, immigrants, transit riders, folks that care about housing and climate, folks that were longtime DFLers but are just fed up with the system right now. And we've been hearing a lot on the doors and on the phones and in community that folks are fed up and ready for something different. And what we're hearing is that no matter where folks fall on the policy spectrum of whether it's encampments or public safety, for example, if folks want more police or a bigger budget, or they're on the opposite side of the spectrum with less police, less budget, no matter where people fall on the spectrum, everyone's unhappy. And I could have worded that better if I wasn't suffering, but
I
you get the
understand.
point.
Yes.
And so honored to be endorsed by 6 of the 13 city council members as the first choice candidate. A whole host of unions from our labor workers at SEIU to our hospitality workers at Unite Here, our teachers at MFE, our organizations like Take Action and St. Tool and IX, the Minnesota DFL Disabilities Caucus. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar just endorsed the campaign as well, which I'm really excited about. A whole host of state legislators from progressive to Blue Dog Democrats. And so we built a real coalition here that we believe can win in November. And that was evident at the convention. We got the first place. We got first place on the first ballot. We won the endorsement. Yes, it got revoked, but what we believe is that, and what we're seeing is that we believe we're going to see those same kind of results on election day, in which the city is really ready for a new direction, one that centers affordability and the needs of working people and working families, and making sure that we're a more connected city and healing the relationships amongst elected officials, city council members, and community. And that's the kind of things that I believe we're going to bring as a campaign, and looking forward to hopefully representing folks in City Hall and being more of a community-centered mayor. And I remember when I first ran for state senate 5 years ago, and I won, and I started serving, that I made a commitment to a community that I wouldn't have to be a senator, that you have to come into the office, start lobbying, asking blah, 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 but coming to the office, educate me, tell me about what's going on the ground, give me my homework, let's get to work together, you know? And so I hope to be that same kind of mayor, having a community center approach to our politics rather than just passing policy and explaining it away later. And so I'm really excited for this election and what's to come.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for running. Like I was sort of saying earlier, we know that, it takes so much. I also know it takes so much to give such a thoughtful answer after that last sauce.
I tried my best. Oof.
So, yeah, so everyone, you have an election on November 4th, so make sure to vote before or on November 4th. Make sure to, like Senator Fateh said, rank your ballot. Yeah. You have that privilege, you have that opportunity this year. Yep, this is Senator Fateh. Thank you all for watching.
And if you see the hellfire doomed hot sauce, stay away.
Stay away.
Do not get this.
Absolutely.
You will regret it.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.